Hey, this is Roy Furr from BreakthroughMarketingSecrets.com, and I have a video for you today about the hero's journey of story selling. One selling story template to rule them all. And let's dive right in. Let's start with what is the hero's journey. Now, you may be familiar with this concept. Joseph Campbell popularized this in his works where he told about the hero's journey, which is this universal human story that has, it captures stories that have been passed down in all cultures throughout all time, of the hero going out on this journey and accomplishing an impossible task and all the things that they have to get through in order to accomplish that task, and then coming back and reintegrating into their normal life. And this story has been used in all kinds of fiction. It's the narrative behind most enduring works of fiction. So a lot of popular works like Star Wars and Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and all of that, they map perfectly onto the hero's journey. In fact, Star Wars was written by George Lucas after studying Joseph Campbell's work specifically to map to the hero's journey. And it became this gigantic cultural sensation. But there are also lots of works in lots of different genres that may not seem quite as much like an adventure or like a journey, that also do map. If you look carefully, they map into the deep narrative structure of the hero's journey. And today, because this has been so well analyzed and presented and taught throughout the fiction writing community, it's become a shortcut to creating better fiction faster. That you actually, from the beginning, in the process of mapping out the story that you want to tell, you use the hero's journey as a tool to develop your narrative, to make sure that you hit on all those points. And it tends to make a particular story resonate better with an audience when you do that. But the hero's journey is not the perfect selling story. When the hero's journey is applied in a selling or marketing situation, it often falls flat because it's more about entertainment and not about persuading somebody to take action. And we'll get into what the perfect selling story is. But first, we need to rewind a little bit and say, what is story selling? So story selling is using stories in a sales situation to convey your selling message. So this is integrating the storytelling, the act of storytelling, into selling, whether that's one-to-one or one-to-many selling in person, selling one-to-one on the phone, or selling through media, selling through videos, selling through written blog posts and emails and direct mail and whatever media that you use. So it can be used in both places by salespeople, by marketers and copywriters. And ideally, what you're going to do if you start a business and you succeed initially out of the gate based on you being able to tell your own sales message, you're going to capture that, can and clone yourself in media that such that you tell those stories in videos when you used to tell them one-on-one. You tell them in letters when you used to tell them one-on-one. And that's how you can really make the best use of your best selling stories. So what's the hero's journey of story selling? Well, the short description is PAISA, P-A-I-S-A. And that stands for problem, agitate, invalidate, solve, and ask. And I use this as a shortcut copywriting formula. I use it very frequently in developing my selling messages because it is incredibly effective at converting people, because it is a natural narrative arc, just like the hero's journey is for fiction storytelling. So problem. Most products, most good businesses address a problem that exists in the marketplace. And you start off your message by basically telling the prospect that you understand their problem. You start with the problem. And then you agitate it. You create an emotional agitation by explaining the problem's impact on the prospect's life, by dimensionalizing that, by making it feel real. And then you look at other solutions that are out there in the marketplace and you explain why they haven't worked, why they're invalid. You invalidate them. And then you present your new solution. You explain what an ideal solution is going to look like, and you present that you have built that into your product, your service, your offer. And then you ask them to take action. That is PAISA in a nutshell. PAISA is also a story template. And the PAISA story can be told from multiple perspectives. Now I'm going to hit it from two perspectives pretty quickly here. And let's just take a common market, a common product type that is sold, and let's talk about savings. Let's talk about some sort of retirement savings vehicle. And from the customer point of view, you may tell the story of a 55-year-old professional who had consistently lived, had a good income throughout their working life, and they'd lived well, and they'd really built up this nice middle-class lifestyle for themselves. However, they were getting close to retirement, and they realized that they just didn't have the kind of retirement savings and investments that it was going to take to sustain them once they decided to stop working. So that's the problem. Now, the agitation here becomes, their feelings, their emotions, their worries, their fears, their frustrations around what their retirement is going to look like if they don't solve this problem. The downfalls, the pitfalls, the big financial challenges that they're likely to face. That's the agitation. Now, in validation, you may look at different savings vehicles that aren't going to catch them up fast enough. You may look at different investment vehicles that may be too risky for them in terms of their ability to catch them up. And so we've gone through problem, agitate, invalidate, and then you have a solution. You have put a solution out there in terms of some specific service, some specific product that you have created in the marketplace, and an offer that you've put out. And you go line by line through the buying criteria of why this is different, why this is going to actually help them solve that problem in a way that the other solutions haven't. And then you specifically ask them to take action. You give them an easy threshold to cross over to become a customer. And you can tell that story here from the customer point of view. You're telling the story like a case study of a customer that went through this process, and that you actually provided the solution. And then ideally, the outcome is tied to the ask. They took advantage of this offer, and you should too, because this is how it can change your life. Now, from the founder or inventor point of view, this is another common perspective to tell the story, except for instead of a customer being the one who had the problem, it's you actually as the founder or inventor of the company that had the problem. So maybe that same product, 10 years ago, you actually found yourself 55, living a nice middle-class lifestyle, but mostly spending all the money that came in and really not doing a good job of preparing yourself for retirement. And you hit that point where you realized that you had to do something better. You had to do something different in order to live the retirement that you wanted. And then you go through the agitation, through all the worries that you had, the fears and the frustrations that you had. You look at how you evaluated different solutions that were out there in the marketplace and realized that none of them were actually going to meet your need in the way that you wanted. And then you have that moment of epiphany where you actually say, okay, here's what the perfect solution looks like. Here are the criteria that I know would make this a perfect solution for me. Here is what this needs to look like. And because I can't find it out there in the marketplace, I'm going to create it. And then the ask is, now that I've created it, I have realized that it is perfect for not just me, but for other people who find themselves in the same situation, which if you're listening to my story right now, you realize that that's you. And I want you to join me. I want you to take advantage of this offer, this product or service that I have created to solve this problem. So here we've talked about it from two perspectives, and really you can go much deeper. I taught this story selling masterclass that went into about 15 different templates for different selling stories, and a lot of them underneath followed this problem, agitate, invalidate, solve, ask framework. Now, when you do this right, this becomes your core brand story, the brand story around the product or service that you're offering. And it becomes the core story that you tell to get customers on your side. in terms of making that offer in the marketplace. And when you implement your core story, you want to integrate it throughout your marketing and selling messages. You want to have it known by all, which means all of your salespeople, all of your customer service, they should know it as well as you. And it can also be told in multiple ways, in multiple contexts. If it is your inventor or founder story and you created a product to solve a problem that you were having, you may actually then also have a bunch of customer stories that you can tell where you have the PAISA formula applied from your perspective and from the customer perspective. And you're going to use that throughout in emails and videos and podcasts and in whatever media you are using. Now, the story itself is only one of the three pillars of highly effective story selling. The three pillars are actually character, and that is the character of the storyteller, the character of the business, the salesperson, the marketer, the character of the person making the offer in the marketplace, and how that resonates, how that person's identity, that character's identity resonates with the market. And then there's the stories that you tell, and then there's actually applying them in selling context, in selling situations. And if you want to go deep on the three pillars, my story selling masterclass was built completely around the three pillars and how to apply them. And it's now a part of BTMS Insiders, which is a library of proven ideas to grow your business. The BTMS Insiders All Access Pass gives you instant, on-demand, unlimited access to everything in the catalog, all new training that's created. And you can go through the Story Selling Masterclass as part of your first month of BTMS Insiders membership, and then decide if you actually like it. You do have to pay the monthly fee, but in your first month, if you decide at any time that it's not right for you, you get a prompt and courteous full refund. And beyond that, you have no obligation to continue. It's a monthly service. You know, the trite comparison is that it's like Netflix, except for proven ideas to grow your business. So if you want to get the Story Selling Masterclass, you just go to btmsinsiders.com, sign up for the All Access Pass, and you'll be able to go to the Story Selling Masterclass there. I'll also include a link with this video. Again, this is Roy Furr for BreakthroughMarketingSecrets.com. That's where you get my free daily essays and updates on these videos on ideas to grow your business, as well as have an opportunity to go deeper with me. Again, encourage you to check out the Story Selling Masterclass as well. Thank you.